So many have said that truckers are the most powerful group of people in any country, period, today in the first world. And I think that's actually true. And it's vastly underestimated how much power this group of people has. Because why? It's the lifeblood of modern civilization. It's obvious. All the supplies, all of the materials, all of the natural resources, all of the energy resources pretty much drive through the country, especially in North America. They have to be shipped on land in large loads, right? This is what the economy is all about. This is what the ecosystem of the first world and the modern world is. And if one day all the truckers in America or in Canada or in any country essentially with a large landmass decided to stop doing what they're doing in act of a cause, that cause would come to fruition pretty quickly, because people can only survive so long without, the truckers, right? The truckers are needed to make the world go round, quite literally. So right now, the powers that be, the elite in Canada especially, are shaking in their boots over this freedom rally that has started on the west coast of Canada. 50,000 plus truckers. Just think about that. 50,000 plus truckers registered and are driving all the way to Ottawa in protest of vaccine mandates and COVID restrictions in Canada. And it's gotten to the point where GoFundMe has frozen $4 million raised by these Canadian truckers protesting vaccine mandates. This freedom rally is going on right now. They're driving across Canada right now. And that's why it's getting a lot of attention. It just started yesterday or the day before. And they're scheduled to arrive in Ottawa on the 29th. And this is tens of thousands of truckers and people. And so this has garnered a lot of attention in Canada. And GoFundMe, obviously, this is an establishment outlet. They've been well known to freeze the funds of people, especially conservatives and pro-liberty people, anybody who's anti-establishment. They'll freeze the funds of these people that raise money and for a cause. They're doing this because they're afraid of what these truckers are able to do. $4 million in just a few days. Over 50,000 donations from different individuals, 55,000 from different individuals. The Freedom Convoy 2022 is making waves. People are frightened. The establishment shaking in their boots. So check this out. This is out of LifeSite News. GoFundMe is claiming that they are requiring more transparency for the group that is actually raising these funds. So basically what they're saying is that we need more details on how these funds are going to be used if we're going to continue to let this happen. They wouldn't be asking these same questions for the leftist control freaks and Karens that love COVID and their religion. They wouldn't be saying this for the pro-CRT groups, for the homosexual groups and stuff like this. They wouldn't be saying it for anybody that was pro-establishment. They're only saying this as an excuse, in my opinion, to stop the flow of money. The question is, how are these funds going to be used? $4 million? Well, I don't know. It's a group of 55,000 trucks. Maybe they need to pay for things like fuel and food and lodging and staying at hotels. It's pretty obvious what you would need money for to participate in a massive protest like this. It's one of the few protests I can think of that actually requires a lot of money. In fact, the regular protests, going out and marching, it requires some. If you're gonna do it NGO style, I'm sure they have money. They have the George Soros money or whatever it is, the Bill Gates money to go and do their thing. But the regular truckers and the working class of Canada and the U.S., we kind of need people's money, little donations, the little guys, right, to do anything, right? We don't have corporations funding us. So, gee whiz, I don't know. What could that money be used for? Now, it's also interesting to know, and this is really the secret here, this is actually breaking out just beyond Canada. There's a convoy now starting in South Carolina. You can see the video here. This is in South Carolina, and they're also driving up to Ottawa to stand in unison with the Canadian truckers. This could become like a nationwide or a worldwide phenomenon. I can't think of a better way for the right wing, the dissident right, to protest. Let me tell you, marching in the streets doesn't work. Look what happened at Charlottesville. They co-opted it. Look what happened at January 6th. They co-opted it. See, it's always co-opted and turned into a false flag where it's these marches with people holding signs and stuff. I suppose the same thing could happen here, but I think it's much more effective because what does the dissident right have control of? We have control of the people, especially working class Americans, specifically the trucking industry is a great example, where we can really halt supplies and stop society in its tracks if we want something. Hey, isn't that really useful? It is. Let me tell you, if enough people, and it's now happening, enough people are realizing that we have the power here and we hold the cards, right? We hold the ace of spades, and all we got to do is use it. So here are some photos from all across Canada. People are also supporting these truckers in large numbers for this freedom rally wherever they're driving through, the small towns and stuff. So they'll stop, overnight in like Manitoba and other areas along the continent, essentially, of Canada. And people show their support at these stops and these rallies where they are scheduled to drive through. This is becoming a very, very well-known thing in Canada, and I think this is more power to them. My Canadian brothers and sisters, we can do this. We can do this. We can discard these mandates once and for all. Do like what England has done. Do like what Ireland, I wouldn't even be. Yeah, I almost feel like some of this, it's like bound to happen. But a guy like Trudeau needs a little push. Let's be honest, he's a little bitch. He needs a little push, right? So, now as this is all happening, I think a lot of people across the Western world have gotten a little bit of a push and a little bit of inspiration from what happened recently, and I feel like this was kind of the beginning of the real domino effect of some of these mandates falling, and I think there's just the beginning of the end for the COVID nonsense until they come out with a new thing, right? And I think it could be a new disease, right? That occurs, of course, naturally, from a bat in Wuhan. We're on YouTube, right? We got to watch out for those bats in Wuhan, boys. We got to watch out for the bats in Wuhan. Or it could be like a fake alien invasion or something weird like that. I'm telling you, they'll pull something out. Like if they start losing, maybe at World War III, like we already see that happening, which I might have to do a little podcast about that one. What's going on in Ukraine? Yeah, that's just a reboot of the Obama administration throughout 2014, 15, and 16, right before Trump got in. You can say what you want about Trump. The Ukraine crisis came to a halt when he got into office. I'm ranting. This is not the topic of the video. Press stop. Anyways, OSHA has officially withdrawn the workplace mandates for COVID-19 vaccines and tests. The Supreme Court struck it down, and today they officially withdrew the actual mandate because they can't enforce it with the Supreme Court saying they can't enforce it. So they just withdrew the mandate. It's official. The problem is a lot of companies like Carhartt, for example, will still implement this, but the difference is now people can sue them if they get injured as a result of their company's mandate, because it isn't Biden or the Biden administration making them do it anymore. It's not OSHA making the companies enforce this anymore. It's now the companies enforcing these mandates upon themselves. So if somebody gets hurt, they're now able to be possibly held liable by the individual that is hurt, their employee, for instance. And, they can't any longer say, well, we were just being made to do it by the government. No. They kind of hold a little more liability here, so it gives more of an argument in court. And that was the whole point of the Biden mandate. A lot of these corporations are in line because of the ESG system that's put forth by, the UN and the World Economic Forum, where, they buy up through companies like BlackRock and Vanguard, like large portions, or at least big enough portions of executive boards for some of these companies, these Fortune 500 companies, and they're able to put guidelines in place called ESGs, environmental safety, environmental something guidance, where they're like encouraged to promote diversity and, be more carbon friendly or whatever it is. And then also put forth COVID-19 restrictions and mandates and stuff like that. Anything that the New World Order globalists want, they can enforce it to the corporations through that ESG program. It's very, very, very important to how the system is run. So a lot of these corporations still will put forth a lot of these restrictions, mandates, whether it's mask mandate, vaccine mandate, things like this. And they'll still go along with it and try to force their employees to do it. But this is where people got to boycott those corporations, figure out who they are. Right now on the top of the list is Carhartt that I can think of. But not only that, it's like a spit in the face of all their customers, because a lot of their customers are people like truckers and working class folks. So, we got to find out who these people are and who these corporations are, and not give them our money and quit. Don't work for them either. Like if they're trying to make you do that. So that's the lesson to be learned right there. So keep an eye on this. I would suggest everybody share this information with everyone you know. The more public awareness we can get about this, the more we can encourage those truckers to get together and join their brothers and sisters here in North America, especially here in, I speak as an American, and, I consider Canadians as close as you can get to pretty much American without being American. So, we're all in this together as far as I'm concerned, us here in like the Western world, right? Especially North America. So let's go on. Let's do this. Get this information out. GoFundMe's trying to freeze this money. Let's figure out a way to raise awareness to this and get everyone talking about it. So it's a headline story, because let me tell you, that does scare the establishment. They don't want you knowing about this. They do not want you knowing about this. They don't want people talking about it and getting too much chutzpah and boycotting and protesting the mandates, right? So share this video. It's been Press. Like, share, subscribe. Join me on BitChute, Odyssey, and Rumble if you haven't already. Also, if you want to become a Patreon member or contribute with PayPal, you can contribute to the channel that way as well. It's been Press. Keep your head up, stay real, and no fear.